Today we're doing something a little bit different, and I'm hoping that this will result in a shorter video. At my apartment complex, no one really has a lot of money. It's kind of I don't want to say poor, but less affluent part of town. That includes me. What I do have is a lot of computer parts, though. My neighbors have some kids that don't have a computer, and they'd really like to be able to play some games. My neighbors can't really afford a new computer for their kids, so I figured I'd step in and just toss them something for free. Doesn't really cost me anything. Okay, it cost me a little bit, but we'll get to that. So, I suppose first, let's get a system put together. I don't want to start from scratch. That'll take way too long, so I'm going to go ahead and look at some of the systems I already have more or less built and see if we can improve upon any of them. No, too old. Very much too old. Ooh. Too loud. Too weird. What's this? Oh. Yeah, that'll work. So we have a computer. What we have here, if I recall correctly, is an AMD A6 3620. Nothing special, but it's a free PC. And it uses DDR4. It's got 4 cores, 8 gigs of RAM. It's really not that bad. It's an APU, so it has better integrated graphics than what you might find on other CPUs of the era. So, as is, this probably wouldn't be a bad PC to give them for free. But we can do better than that. Let's find a graphics card. No, not in this box. No, too old. Too power hungry. Yeah, too old. I could do a K600, but it doesn't have HDMI. They'd have to adapt. This is all too old. Too old. It's got mini HDMI, that's an option. Too power hungry. I don't think there's any graphics cards in there. Yep, I'll just go with the 750 Ti. I chose the 750 Ti because it genuinely is the best graphics card I have right now that's not in my own PC. And the real important thing is that it had to have HDMI. I don't even remember if this motherboard has HDMI. It doesn't look like it. So the downside is it has mini HDMI, but I have a cable. So mini HDMI to full-size HDMI. So that's taken care of. Now, I spent probably 40 bucks on this card a couple months back. I don't remember what this was for, but I know that it works. I know that this system works. I threw this system together from stuff I found mostly in the trash and at garage sales. I think I've got maybe $10 invested in this system. I think it has a 500 gigabyte hard drive, 8 gigs of RAM, and again, the A6, probably 3620. It's a system, you can't complain for a free system. But we cannot go with this case. It does not have the side panel. I did not get to the side panel with this case. It kind of sucks. So, what about the case? I purchased this on Newegg for about 35 bucks. I really love these cases. They're nothing special. They're not fancy. They're micro ATX, so they'll work with our motherboard. But most importantly, it's pretty. Now, I believe that this PC is going to be shared between 2 girls. I have no idea how old they are, but they can't. They're younger than teens. They're probably like 10-ish, So I think that this is a pretty decent looking case. Don't think they'll complain. 2 USB 2.0 ports, which is important because I don't think that board has 3.0. If it does, it's going to be on the back and not as a header. So, oh man, they really tightened the top one. I might not be able to get this with, oh boy. I bet you weren't expecting an unboxing video, but that's fine. Very, very simple case. It's made out of a single piece of stamped steel. It's not very thick, but it'll work. And I reused the, this is a pretty ingenious way to save costs. So, but yeah, it's a decent little case. At this point, I suppose the only thing that makes sense is to transfer things to this new case. Let me go ahead and pop these out first because I don't want to scratch up the motherboard when I try to get those out. I will need some fans, actually. Let's get the fans installed first. Do I have fans? Did I grab some already? I think I did, but I don't know where I put them. Let me go find some fans. Okay, so I've got some fans. Another thing I'm going to have to look out for is I believe the motherboard that I'm going to use is an OEM motherboard and might not have a lot of fan headers. So let me just look here real quick. I see one for the back fan. I think that's the only header it has. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Let me see what I've got for splitter cables. Oh, actually, that's mighty convenient. This is a 4-way to Molex. That might be a little loud. Luckily, the rear fan actually already has Molex, and I don't think this is too loud, but we'll see. Not, if it ends up being a little bit noisy, then I guess that's just going to be how it is. You can't complain. I have a free PC, but I do need some screws. Okay. Well, I had to use different fan screws than the ones I originally pulled out. That's the downside of using, well, used fans. The screws, where they go is sometimes mighty stripped out. So, oh man. Looks like I used some HP screws. Not really a bad thing, but HP has a habit of using Torx screws. Luckily, they usually have a flat head as a secondary, but since I don't have a Torx set on me right now, I have to use the flat head. 500 gigs. Okay, I knew it was 500. Oh, looks like this PC may end up with Wi-Fi. Cool. Power supply next. I knew... I used more of those damn HP screws. This is an HP power supply, 300 watts, which leads me to believe this is probably an HP motherboard. I threw this together originally just out of whatever I had lying on hand to try and get rid of it. I had it on Marketplace for $25, and you would not believe how many people contacted me to ask if I would take $5 for it. The activation for Windows 10 is worth more than $5. The activation for Windows 10 is worth about what I was asking for the whole PC. So, yeah, that wasn't going to happen. Okay. This could use a cleaning. I don't know why, but all 10 of my brushes are missing, and so is all of my cleaning supplies. So the best this is going to get is a quick spritz with a can of air. Whew! Wish I hadn't done this inside, but too late now. That's probably good. Really wish I knew where my brushes were, but I guess that's just going to be one of life's great mysteries. I don't even know if this battery's bad, but it's not going to be mine. It's going to go to someone else, kids no less. Therefore, I care a little bit more about this thing working for them. So, new battery. Let's put it in the case. Get that sucker in there. The I/O shield first. Holy crap, that's dirty. I do have this still. Somewhere around here I've got a rag. Yes. So that has got to go. That's so much better already. Oh my god. I think that this computer used to be owned by a smoker or something. Goodness. Ugh. That's a lot better. Okay. one downside of cases, or of this case, I've used plenty of these in the past, is it can sometimes be difficult to get I/O shields in it because of the, let's just say, imprecise machining. Oh, that's in. I don't think it's ever coming back out. At least not without destroying the case. So, dust fell in there. In she goes. Oh man, this is oh dear. Huh. Uh-oh. That's... Let's try removing the back fan. Then maybe we'll be able to get it in. That's not good. I might have to find another motherboard. Not that I don't have them, but this one was convenient. Will it fit? My God. That is a tight fit. It's in. Whew, that's tight. Okay. That's fine, I think. Yeah, I think this will work. Okay. Not sure what that came from, but let's get this secured in place. I hope this camera angle is better for you guys. So the question is, do I use the fine thread on this case? Yes. Okay. Fine thread. It wants me to put another one there, or sorry, it wants me to put a standoff here, but at this point, I'm not gonna. We're just gonna roll with it. Not really all that necessary anyway. Uh-oh. Get out of there. Okay. I'm not saying this case sucks. I love these cases. But it is a budget case. Come on. Defective screw. It had a malformed Phillips head. Interesting. I need one more. Okay. Motherboard in. Let's get the power supply in. This, actually no. Before I start getting cables all over the place, let's get the front panel plugged in. Let's do buttons first. Okay, I know that this is going to be one of those times where I can see but you can't. And I apologize for that. power button and reset. Reset is towards the bottom. Let's get a little more length on these. Okay. Reset switch. Plugged in. Get out of there. Okay. Power switch. Plugged in. Hard drive LED. Looks like it indicates positive towards the back of the case. Usually the power button and reset button don't matter for polarity. It's really only server cases where that matters. But the LEDs absolutely matter. Power LED. Negative. And positive. Get in there. Okay, front panel is plugged in. This is going to be a cable management nightmare, I can already tell. But we're going to do the best we can. Again, free case, so it's not the end of the world if it's a little bit ugly. I really don't want to use a Molex splitter for a single fan. I think I'm going to see if I have any 120mm fans that are already 4-pin Molex. But we'll do that after we get everything else wired up. So, HD audio and USB. Front USB 1 down here at the bottom. Get in there. Audio. Sometimes it's around here, but in this case, it's at the very far corner. Audio plugged in. Now these we're going to try and just kind of tuck under here. Not working very well, but you know what, that's fine. Okay. I think we're on the power supply. Where'd I put it? Here it is. This kind of generic HP power supply. It's fine. It's fine. Grab a couple of these screws. These are the coarse thread ones, of course. Actually, 1, 2, 3. No, that's the one with the bad. 4. Okay. We're not going to use these coarse thread screws. We're going to use these ones. These real cheap cases usually include 2 different types of coarse thread screw. The first type has an almost tapered thread to it. It's really designed as a self-tapper for the expansion cards. It is the same thread pitch and will work as a standard coarse thread screw, but they do usually include 4 standard coarse thread screws for the power supply. But I almost forgot that fact. I really wish I had a better camera setup than my phone, but you know, you use what you got. That's about good, I think. Okay, so power supply. Let's get the 4-pin CPU connector connected. Done. Peripherals out of the way for now. And the motherboard connector. That's in. Not clipped though. Okay, that's clipped. So, at this point, before we continue, I'm going to go ahead and power this system on, just to make sure nothing weird has happened and that it has suddenly stopped working. Get that out of the fan. That's going to need a zip tie, I think. There we go. Do you post? Yes. Keyboard error, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, we're good. That is very good news. That means we can continue. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find another fan like this, except 120 millimeter, so I don't have to waste I mean, they're not expensive, but if I can avoid wasting money, that'd be great. Because this is a 4-fan to Molex adapter, and I literally have to plug in 1 fan. So I will be right back. Well, I found one. That's an LED fan. So we're going to put it on the bottom. It's going to look a little bit silly with only 1 LED fan, but that's okay. Need I reiterate? Free computer. And who knows? Maybe the girls will like that. It'll be fancy, you know? I think they'll like it. With a 750 Ti and a quad-core CPU, this will be able to handle, honestly, quite a lot. And they should be able to upgrade this CPU if they really wanted to. Get out of there. Okay. I don't want the cable oriented up this time. To the side. Get in there. Okay. These again. Riveting, I know. Sometimes this is just how it goes. Almost done. Then we can put the back fan back in, the exhaust fan. After this, we can throw the graphics card in. That'll be nice. Like this has some sort of twisty tie on the cable. We do not want that. Throw that down there. Not the whole fan. I need one of these ready to go. And then we're going to test this again to see just how loud it is. If it's too loud, I might either forego the exhaust fan, which honestly probably isn't even necessary, or find a different one. So yeah, this has a lot of intake. It's got 2 intake fans, and the only real place for the air to escape is in the back. So even without this exhaust fan, it should be just fine. But for completionist's sake, we'll go ahead and get it properly installed. we go. Need to shift it over a little bit. I can get this one in. Then tighten up these two. So, graphics card. Slap this on in here. Oh, one of these PCI condoms on it. Okay. We'll use these awful tapered screws. I mean, they're included. They're not unusable. You just have to be really careful when you tighten them down, otherwise you risk stripping it out super easy. Okay, that's good enough. So, what the heck? Oh wow, this exhaust fan was modified to work with this. This is not the original setup. Interesting. Let's go ahead and get them powered. We'll start with this one. Plugged in, if I can get the darn things to line up. There we go. And this power supply only has 1 mAh. Okay, we're daisy chaining. Oh well, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, let's power it on, see what happens. I think that I'm gonna need this. Yes, I will. Okay. Put that there. You guys can more or less see the screen, so that's fine. I mostly, at this point, just want to see how loud it is anyway. Make sure none of these are in the fan teeth. Okay. That's loud. And pointed the wrong direction. So, why'd you let me do that? See how this one works. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good enough. Let's get the hard drive installed. Well, let's get this fan out of there. We don't need that fan. We really genuinely don't. I'll have to remember this thing is a little bit noisy for the next time that I make the mistake of trying to install it somewhere. So this case is very frugal with its metal use, which I appreciate. That's kind of ingenious, actually. Get out of here. And I'm actually going to remove these screws at the risk of stripping them next time, because I need to put that little shield on here. That's right, these top tabs sometimes need a little bending. There we go. Oh, you bastard. Get one of these ready, I suppose. Okay. Uno. Dos. Okay, those are in. And just so they have the screws next time they go to use this case, which they honestly probably won't, but you know. Just gonna put the rest of the screws in the empty expansion slots. nice to have extra screws. So as I was saying, this case is very frugal with its steel use. So the mount for the hard drive is literally the bottom of the case. So we are going to just kind of squish it in here. Can the camera see this? Yeah, camera can see this just fine. So these 4 holes there, we're looking to line up. There we go. Now, I'm going to reuse these HP screws, mostly because I hate them and I want to get rid of them. And technically speaking, they work just fine. Therefore, this is a good way to get them gone. Of course, I'll need my flathead. I hate flatheads. But yes. Now this particular mount point on this particular case will work both for standard 3.5 inch drives and 2.5. There's another 2.5 inch mount here. And let me show you a couple other nifty things once I get these tightened. Yes. Okay. So these various holes along here are also for SSDs and hard drives. They're just expecting you, if you want to load this thing up with drives, to just have them hang out over the case. The only downside is you can't use those if you have fans installed. So yeah, it's a thing. I appreciate the effort, you know, but that's a solid F tier. I'm trying to get this down towards the bottom. This is the SATA power without getting it jammed up in the fan. Oh no, that's a terrible design. What about this one? This one, we'll have to go with that one. Okay, so this is just all kinds of a mess now. This will hang at the top, and this one with the fan attached to it is just going to come on down to the bottom. So we can plug this in here. And at this point, I'm thinking this bread tie is going to come in handy. So we're going to just kind of wad this all up and then tie it all together. It's out of the fan, therefore it's probably just fine. Okay. Yes. Now the SATA cable. Now I want to reuse this extraordinarily tiny SATA cable because I have absolutely no use for it anywhere else at all. So it's going... Oh, that is hard to plug in with the graphics card in the way. That's in. Will it reach? Yes, it will. That cable would be useless anywhere else, but in this particular instance, hey, you know, it works. Just kind of getting a good eye for things. I think we're good. I'm going to put the side panel back on. And where are the thumb screws? Here we go. Our thumb screws back on. Then we'll boot into Windows and see what kind of hardware we've got here. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I actually care about this PC a little bit, we're going to put some of these on there. Now these are just I think they're for furniture, but although they're a little difficult to get the self-adhesive stuff off, this will help prevent them from scratching anything up with these awful screws underneath. If I were to try and sell this PC on the marketplace as it is, I wouldn't get a whole lot for it. And I spent $35 on the case and another, whatever on the graphics card. So this would be extremely difficult to even try to make a profit off of. So if I had put a graphics card in here that I didn't pay for, we could make a profit. Because I could probably sell this PC for 50, 60 bucks. But it would be a very slim profit. And again, this is for some girls. I think they're gonna like it. I hope they do. But let's see, let's change the camera angle. Okay, get this plugged in. Now I'm going to need at least a keyboard, preferably also a mouse. Maybe if I just move this over there. Keyboard. This doesn't have PS2. Shoot. Mouse. Well, I was really hoping that this was going to be like a 15-minute video, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Where's my power cable? Got it. Okay. Oh, that's a pretty fan. Does this graphics card not work anymore? Or is it still defaulting to onboard graphics? What is going on here? Okay. So the card's working fine. It's the rest of the PC. Keyboard's not working either. Darn it. The keyboard was what's causing it to fuck up? Are you kidding me? What the heck is this stuck to my enter key? Okay, G-force. Is it gonna not, okay. Now what happens if I unplug the keyboard? I have a bad keyboard? I'm keeping that in the video. Huh, I guess it booted up while I wasn't in the room. So we're gonna go ahead and... How's it got a little... Okay. Plug that in. PC. What a name. The joys of Windows 10 on a hard drive. Yelp. Okay. Well, I didn't connect the antennas, so we're going to get terrible, terrible signal, but if this will ever load, I want to see if it even sees any Wi-Fi networks. Nope. Okay. So let's first go to see what kind of hardware we're working with. Is this an A6 3620? Yes, it is. 8 gigs of RAM. And there's our slowdown. It's all hard drive, baby. So, if I had an SSD, I would throw it in here, but I don't. So, once this stops thrashing the disk, we should be fine. I don't know if I'll be able to get them a good Wi-Fi signal unless I put in a dedicated card. So let me go see if I have a dedicated card. I'll just take the onboard one off. Well, I found this. Just kind of grabbed whatever antennas I could find. We'll throw this in and that should do it. Why did I put all 4 of these back in? I knew better than that. Get out of there. These damn tapered ones like to get stuck sometimes. Don't want to come all the way out. Come on. Okay. What the hell? Jeez. What the heck? Are they all gonna do that? Alright, we're not putting this cover back on. That's... What is going on? This one's stripped out immediately. They're getting caught on the little ridge here. Get out of there. Come on, there we go. We are not putting this back on. That was terrible. Okay. Now there's not a lot of room, but there should be just enough for the Wi-Fi card. That's going to block like the entire GPU airflow. That's got a half height bracket on it. Oh man. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's slightly upsetting. We'll get that old onboard Wi-Fi out of there. Come on, you bastard. Come out of there. You bastard. It's getting... I actually have to do this. Jeez. Oh, Pete's. Okay, let me see if I can find anything else. That's not gonna work. We were on track for a photo finish, and then we weren't. So we are going to just kind of ignore all this. I found a, I think, USB Wi-Fi adapter. So I'm going to tuck this all back together. It's missing one of the expansion slot covers now, but that was my bad. I should have noticed that Wi-Fi card had a half height bracket, but I didn't. So here we are. Let me plug this in and see what happens. Come on. Does it not recognize it? Slow hard drive. No, it recognizes it. So, man, show available networks. Come on. Adapter options. What? Okay, I can't spend any more time on this. It's been almost 5 hours. I thought this was going to be a short video. That's okay. They're still getting a pretty decent PC for free. And it's got a hard drive to slow it down, but you know what? 4 cores, 8 gigs of RAM, a 750 Ti. I need to get the graphics card drivers, but I'm going to be doing that probably off screen. So all that's really left is a little bit of setup. And they can get their own USB Wi-Fi adapter if they really want to. They're getting a whole free PC. Anyway, this video did not go the direction I thought it was going to, but you know what? Thanks for watching anyway. Y'all have a good night.